G'day guys, my name is Dave and welcome to another Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play Cannonball by Damien Rice, which is one of my favorite acoustic songs of all time. For the basics of this song, you'll need a guitar in standard tuning and you'll need a capo on the 6th fret of your guitar. If you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook, or if you want to improve in guitar in general, then check out Guitar Zero to Hero Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course. Alright, let's jump into the lesson. Okay, so first off, I'm going to teach you a version of the intro/verse that you can use basically throughout the entire song with the exception of the choruses. But after I teach you this, I'll teach you a variation of the intro and the verse, which sounds pretty cool, especially if you use it at the start of the song. Let's start with the standard intro and verse, and we're going to start with our index finger here on the 2nd fret of the 5th string and our pinky finger here on the 5th fret relative to the capo on the 4th string. So this is an E minor shape right here. We're going to start by hitting the bass note, or you can just strum the top 2 strings or so. And then we're going to strum up, down, up, down, up. And that's the first half of this bar, which sounds like this. With the strums, we want to be targeting the 5th and 4th strings, but you can be loose here and you can hit the top 4 or so strings. You don't want to be hitting too many of the higher strings like the 1st and 2nd string. So moving on to the second half, we're then going to slide our pinky finger down 1 fret. So now it's the 4th fret relative to the capo. We're going to hit this with a down stroke, and then we'll get into a C major 7 position like this. So it's basically a C chord, but we don't really need to put our index finger down. And we're going to hit the 5th and 4th strings. So just focus on those two. So down, down, and then we're going to do another down stroke, but we're going to lift our middle finger and we're going to hammer that middle finger into place. And then we're going to end with one more downstroke, but with our middle finger lifted. For those 4 downstrokes, we are just focusing on the 5th and 4th strings. And we put the first bar together. Remember, we don't need to be super precise about this. If you happen to hit some of those open strings like the 3rd or 2nd string, that's totally okay. Okay, now for the second bar, we're going to get into a G position and we're going to start with our index finger lifted. With our picking hand, we'll play down, down, up. But on that first down strum, you'll hammer on your index finger into place. And then we'll end this first half with another up, down. All right, so down, down, up, down. For the second half, we'll lift our index finger now and we'll target the open 5th string here. We'll hit that with a downstroke, and after that, we'll do a light down, up strum on the 4th, 3rd, or 2nd strings. So for our final little section, again, we'll target the 5th string, but we'll hit it and hammer on our index finger, and then another quick down up. So the second half of this bar and the bar in total. And the first line of tab all together will sound like this. Now the second line of tab is identical to the first tab, so we're just repeating those 2 bars again. When we get to the 3rd line of tab, we're now going to take our pinky finger and put it on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. So this is an octave shape. So we have our index finger here still on that 2nd fret of the 5th string, pinky finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Now, when you strike this chord, and again, you can have all of the strings ringing here, when we hit this chord, we also want to have that 4th string muted. And we can have that fourth string muted by just slightly resting our index finger across it as it's hitting that second fret of the fifth string. But you'll want to keep that first and second string ringing out. We're going to start with the open sixth string, and we're going to again do a up, down, up. For the second half of this bar, we're going to hit this with the down strum, but you'll slide your pinky finger up to the fifth fret, all whilst keeping your index finger here. So slide that pinky finger up, and then it comes back down to the fourth fret. We're going to do another down strum. Then with our free middle finger here, come down to the second fret of the third string, and we're going to strum this position and then lift it, and this is the final down strum. So the moving melody occurs on this third string, but we're strumming the full chord at the same time. Alright, and all the while try to keep that fourth string muted by lightly resting your index finger over the top of it. We put that together with the first half and this bar. Now for this second bar of this third line of tab, we're going to get to our G chord position. We're going to start with hitting the root note, so that's that third fret of the sixth string. And then we're going to follow it with a quick down up strum on the higher strings. So bass note, and then a down up on some of those higher strings. We're going to do the exact same thing on the fifth string, but we're going to hammer our index finger into place. So down, down, up. And then with your middle finger, go to the third fret of the fifth string. We're going to hit this and slide up to the fifth fret. And after that, a down up strum on the higher strings. And then for the final section, we're going to target the fourth string and hammer that on with our index finger, followed by a quick down up on the higher strings. So for this whole bar, we're basically playing a down, down, up 4 times. And the third line of tab in total. For the final and fourth line of tab, we're going to start with an A minor 7 position, so it's the same as an A minor. We're going to have our ring finger lifted though. And we're also going to have our index finger lifted. So on this first down strum, we're going to hammer that index finger into place. So that's the first down strum, and then we're going to follow that with a down, up, down, up, down. Alright, so we're going to end this first section with a up, down, up. And then the last section, we're going to target the open fifth string and hammer our middle finger into place. So we can lift that from the fourth string. And then a quick down, up on the higher strings. So the final little chunk here in this bar, and the bar in total. Moving on to the second bar, in this position, we're going to target the fifth string, so the second fret of the fifth string, and hammer our ring finger into place there. And then we're going to target the fourth string, the open fourth string, and then hammer our middle finger into place. So 2 hammer-ons there. And then we'll play a down, down, up. And that's the first half of this bar. Now for the second half of this bar, we're going to stay here and we're going to play a down, down, up, down, down, up. But on this first down strum, we're actually going to slide this chord shape up 2 frets. So it's a D at 11. And the bar in total. Now, of course, all these strumming patterns are just suggestions as well. So if you feel that it sounds better a different way, then feel free to just sort of improvise it. The fourth line of tab in total. And that's it for the standard intro and verse, which will sound like this. a bit faster. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you an intro variation that I like to play at the very start of this song. Now you don't have to play this. You could just as easily play what I just taught you, the standard intro / verse, and that would sound fine as well. Now the first two lines of tab here for this intro variation are the same. The difference is when we get to the third line of tab here. So for the second bar, when we get to this G, we're going to start off the same way. So the first half of this bar is identical. But then for the second half, we're going to go to a D chord and we're going to do the same strumming pattern. So down, down, up, down, down, up. But on the first down strum, you're going to hit the fourth and third strings and pull your index finger off to the open string. So down, down, up, down, down, up. And the bar would sound like this. So that's the first difference here in this intro variation. Now for the fourth line of tab, this first half is identical with the A minor 7. When we get to the second bar, the first half is the same, so we still have those two hammer-ons. But then we go to a G chord, and we're going to start this with a downstroke and pull off to the second fret of the 6th string. And as you pull off, you're then going to a D/F sharp shape like this. So it's ring finger there, but index and middle on the second frets of the 6th and 3rd strings. So that's the first stroke, and then we're gonna continue with a down, up, down, up, down, up. So the bar in total. And this will lead us into the first verse, which has a slight variation just at the very start because of the change to this final lick. So the fourth line of tab here. And that will take us into the first verse variation. And this is basically identical to the standard verses that I taught you, with the exception of this very first bar. So we're still on this D/F sharp. And on the first beat, we're going to hit it and pull off that second fret to the open 6th string and hit it one more time. And then we go into our E minor position like we normally do with the verse, but we start this on the 2 beat instead of the up beat after the 1. So it starts on a downstroke. So down, up, and then the second half. So the very start of this verse variation. So now I'm gonna just rewind and play from the second half of the intro variation, and I'm gonna play through to the start of the verse variation. And you can just do this at the start of the song if you want to. That's what I'm gonna do at the playthrough at the end of this tutorial. Or you can just completely leave it and play the standard intro and verse. It's completely up to you. So from the third line of tab of the intro variation. So there's a fun little variation for you. Now in the studio recording, there's 3, maybe even 4 guitars going on. I think at least 3 guitars. So it's kind of hard to pick exactly what to play if you're doing this on one guitar, but I think this is pretty close in incorporating a lot of those elements. Okay, so now let's take a look at the chorus, which is really simple. There's just 2 lines of chords here. We're going to start with the G chord. Now, when we start on this G chord, on the first down strum, I actually like just hammering on my index finger like that. So start with the index finger lifted and hammer the index finger on. Then we go to a C add 9, and I like doing the exact same thing. So the C add 9 is the same as the G, but we just move our index and middle finger down one string. Now we're going to play each of those chords with a down, 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 up. So the G to the C. Now you don't have to do those hammer-ons if you don't want. You can just start with a basic chord if you want. Then after that we go to a D/F sharp, so keep your ring finger where it is. Index and middle will go on the second frets of the 6th and 3rd string, like that. Doesn't matter if you have your 5th string muted here as well, that's totally fine. We're going to strum this with a down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. So the first line of chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is it for the first line of chords, which is repeated through 3 times. And then the second line of chords is just identical to the 4th line of tab that we had in the intro. So we've already learnt that. And that's it for the standard chorus, which will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. The final thing to learn is the final chorus, which is the same as the other choruses, except the second line of chords is played through 3 times, not just once. And that's pretty much everything you need to learn for this song. At its core, you only really need to learn the standard intro and verse and the chorus, and the song is just comprised of those parts. But in this lesson, I obviously gave you some variations that you can use. So that intro variation, which I'll use at the very start of the playthrough. So now I'll be doing a full playthrough of the song, and I'll have a vocal track on top for some context. A big thanks to my friend Eric for lending his awesome vocals to this playthrough. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go. Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here. Or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitarzerotohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.